So we do the Voices of Women Theater Festival because we know there are a lot of things on the mind of women, and we love to give women playwrights opportunities to present their works. So Deb Kelly is the playwright, and so Deb, we'd like to hear from you. Why this play? Start with that.
Here, oh, I got you. Okay.
Hi guys, I wrote this play because when I saw what was happening in Texas with the abortion law that was not allowing a young person that was pregnant to have an abortion, it just was triggering, and something had to be said. And then, unfortunately, when it was written, it was fiction. It wasn't Roe versus Wade, it was just one state. And then with what happened, my cast and I kind of grew the script because we had to, because it had to be relevant, and because we gotta keep fighting, because this is absolutely ridiculous what they're doing to us, and I have a voice and I had to use it.
We would like to, thank you, Deb. We'd like to open it up for comments or questions from anyone in the audience. I know it's a strong play to watch. Comments? Yes.
I just wanted to say you guys did such a lovely job with such a relevant and serious subject matter that I'm sure it takes a lot to perform that and do it in a safe way and safe space.
So the comment, for those of you that are watching, was, the comment was, thank you so much for tackling this topic on the part of the playwright, so we thank you for that comment. Any other comments? If not, we'll talk to the actors. While you're thinking about questions, Amy.
I appreciated the three diverse stories. Did the characters, was it always three stories? Like, how did you come up with the representation?
It was absolutely always three stories. I wanted to represent someone who was in college, someone who was a high school student, and an LGBTQ couple that were struggling to have a child, and what would happen if cancer came into that picture, and then it was no longer a gray area. So.
Were they based off of people that you know or no?
Repeat the question, Deb.
I was asked if it was based off people that I know. It was based off reading some of the things in the news about what was going on at the time, and then it kept on growing. What's going on, like the 10-year-old who they're going after her doctor for having an abortion. I mean, that kind of stuff, that's what it was based upon.
Yes?
I also wanted to say thank you for the diversity, because everybody else always thinks about I have a daughter 17. They always think about the girl who goes to the party or the young child who doesn't think right. But there's always cases that are my age where, I have problems giving birth, or, a gay couple who wants to, adopt a baby. And my sister ended up doing with a turkey baster, it was too expensive. So, yeah.
Is there another, Deb, were you pointing to somebody?
Oh, no, I was
Danny.
trying to
trying to get
her
Danny to
stage
say.
manager to come up.
Oh, yes, comment from the gentleman.
Excellent presentation. The three diverse looks at it was 3 home runs. I mean, you knocked it out the park. Great job.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Comment was a home run. Thank you very much. Which is perfect because you have a Rays t-shirt on.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Steve.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, Deb. Great job by all you guys. My question is, what do we do next? What can I do to make a difference?
Keep fighting with us.
Vote.
Vote.
Vote. I actually heard this question recently, and the response that I heard to it was excellent. It was, get men together. Talk to men, because that's where the power is, right? Talk to men about standing up for, we can do this, but golly, it's a lot easier when we have help. So
Amen.
talk to your people, get them angry, get them fighting, vote, vote,
Vote blue.
vote. Blue,
There was
yes.
a hand in the back, way back.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
You had the same question as a different one.
Question
Yep.
as somebody else.
I have a couple comments from those watching. One is powerful, powerful play, and a much needed one. We're behind you in Canada.
Thank you, Canada.
Another comment is congratulations to Deb for a powerful statement. Well done. Another comment is love hearing from the men in the audience. Another comment is seeing all three scenarios, really important to see how inhumane and cruel and life-threatening this decision has been. So those are the comments so far from those people that are watching live streaming. I think I got all of them. Any other, let's talk to the actors. Molly.
Start with you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for opening up your heart to this space and supporting Power Stories and supporting us as artists. It just means so much for you guys to come out and open your heart to something I know is not the most strictly entertaining, right, that we usually see in theater. So thank you so much. It just means the world to us. And I think, especially with this character, for me, just kind of like breaking open a character that is very stereotypical, right, and kind of giving her a heart and giving her something to kind of have a feeling about. I mean, we're all the same, right, and flesh and blood and bones and stuff, so it's a beautiful story. We couldn't do it without Deb and Fran and all the lovely women and men. Thanks, Chris. So thank you guys so much. It really means a lot.
And since we are talking to the cast now, somebody out there live streamed, since this was such a powerful piece with such difficult emotions, how was the process for each cast member?
Oh.
Okay.
My process especially was just listening to real stories. I actually ended up connecting with someone that a similar story has happened to them and just kind of like learning the process of it and just how many options you have. Of course, stuff is always changing, and just kind of, as Deb said, as we've gone through this, just really learning what our options are and how they're being limited and just really feeling that.
Hi, I'm Carly. For me, this was an incredibly, not scary, but like, real process, because it's something that could happen to me. At being 16 years old and in high school, and this is like Deb wanted to write a real story about real people. I'm a real person, so sorry, but I tried to just bring as much of myself as I could to it, given the fact that the character I'm playing is essentially me, like a teenager, you know. Because that's when I'm the most authentic, is when I am myself. Granted, I have not been through the experience that the character has been through, and that was when I started reading a lot of articles about, like the person who was denied access to abortion even though they were younger due to certain circumstances, and yeah, that was my process.
I'm old enough to have been through this with friends. I have never been through it myself. I am without children, but I'm a teacher, so I can see my kids, my students, in both of them. I can see my friends in my character, but there is a lot about her that is absolutely me. And it is the idea. I have been through cancer myself, not while pregnant, but nonetheless. I mean, it was like, whatever I have to do, let's get it now. We need a double mastectomy, boom. How's now? I've got some time on my calendar. Can we make it happen? And it was that like switch flipping and So I understand where Elise is coming from with that. Like, okay, I'm gonna manage this because I'm not the boss of cancer. So let's be the boss of this. And to have that stolen, to have that right stolen, and to know that there are people who will die, and reading the stories and listening to the stories and talking to people. This is not fiction, honey. This is not fiction. This is so damn real and so scary and so important. And without people like Deb to bring those words to the page, we would have lost a lot. So thank you for the gift of your words for all of us. Sorry, I butchered them a little bit, but thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Right, I didn't say a word, nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
One thing that struck me was the comment you made, which is you're not pro-life, you're pro-birth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that really struck me because I hadn't thought about that like that before, but it's true. People who are so encouraging this really don't care once the baby's born.
Yeah.
Exactly. If they put the money toward the young mother's children, some of whom would have preferred to keep them, we wouldn't have this problem.
Most.
And they put it through fighting Democrats rather than actually taking care of the babies.
Right. The ones that are.
And I also wanted to say that my grandmother had 9 back alley abortions. And that's the way things were. And many of us who are my age lived in a time when there weren't any possibilities of abortions legally. I didn't, when I was young, even know what it was. And I know that there were many women at that time who were forced to marry people who raped them or who their boyfriends or people who were totally inappropriate just because that was the only solution. And we all are talking about our dysfunctional families. Well, many of those dysfunctional families came from these forced marriages. So the implications of this law are really widespread in ways that people aren't even thinking about yet.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing.
Another comment from our watchers. This play was comprised of 3 gripping stories. The actors did a phenomenal job, and Deb did a superb job writing the play. This was from Brenda. So.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda.
I love your pants.
I think I've got all of my.
Danny, anything you wanted to
I
say?
have one, specifically for Deb. What's next?
Oh. Actually, we're in the middle of process now.
No pressure, but all the pressure.
Well, I don't shy away from controversial topics. Amy was in my last show about school shootings and mental health. And Carly was technically in it, but we didn't actually get to go. I'm probably going to look for something else. If they go after gay marriage, then I'll probably write a play about that. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, pick me.
Can I do it? Sure.
The funny thing is, when I first wrote this play, I texted it to Amy, and Amy said, "Can I be in this?" And I was like, "Okay, now I have my one character, so now let me go find the rest." And since having worked with her and having seen Molly on stage here, I was like, I know my cast. And Danny, oh my God, if you want a stage manner that kicks everything. But yeah, we've been blessed to just have an amazing cast, and yeah, just look on my Facebook and follow me and see what we're up to next.
You can also see her next play, right? Breast Advice.
Breast Advice is
We'll
going to be
performing
at
that.
Stageworks on September 3rd, and it's True Monologues that actually debuted here as a workshop before COVID. That was our last thing that we did. And it was accepted in Tampa Bay Theater Festival, so come see our show. Yeah, we're written by some of the actors. Like this one.
I have another question for Deb from those watching. How did she quickly make the needed changes to update to now?
Oh, can I answer that one?
Now that's a story.
That's a lot of stories.
It was basically a collaboration with my cast and crew, and we said, well, this is happening now. Well, let's put this in. Well, this is happening now. Let's put this in. So, yeah, and we ended up just working together to get it.
Wasn't the last line change like 2 days ago?
Yep.
Yes.
It might have been this morning.
It evolves.
It evolves.
Which is not uncommon for plays and playwrights. I have a feeling this is the first of many times Deb will perform the show on stage. So can we all envision that as a collective group? Just kind of see that happening, that Deb and the cast will be performing this more and more to interested audiences, because that is something that can be done. Another comment, bravo Deb, I love the way you took all 3 characters and thread them together like a tapestry. Each so different, but we are all the same. Wonderful. So.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm gonna, first, Deb, thank you. So I have 2 different separate. First is, I noticed that there's no conversation about incest and abortion.
That was one of the lines in the end.
Maybe they skipped it.
Yeah.
No, I really, but it was more, that's the most prominent, and so I don't know if there's any way that you can bring that in.
We can add another character. I mean, this is.
Deb's not afraid to grow a script.
Oh,
Let's
no,
be
no,
real
no,
honest.
no. I don't know, but I didn't know if maybe there was some reason, because that's one of the conversations that most people want to completely stay away from.
No, it was actually a line in the script, but.
Nathan.
Yeah.
And so there was that, and then someone, I don't know who made the comment, but, that this isn't just now, it's gonna grow, and what are the repercussions from all of this? And so, I am president of the 2 anti-sexuality organizations in the state of Florida, and I will tell you where it's going. It's not only going to backroom abortions and co-payers, it is actually having our young girls are now going into hiding. We don't know where they are, we don't know what's going on with them. And it is also now promoted for the traffickers to make sure that they get pregnant, because they cannot have an abortion. And just imagine what's going to happen to kids. So I say that because Deb, you've known me for a long time, and I know your heart, and I know your soul, and I know that if anyone can give us a voice, you're the one that can do that. So I just want you to know whatever I can do to support you without publicizing my organizations, I will do.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Another question for Deb from the audience out there. Would you consider extending this play to see, would you consider extending this play to follow these 3 women to see what develops? Like Amy says, Deb's not afraid to grow a script.
Yes.
So can I still play it?
I like that.
Right? I know.
Yes. We can add that 4th
But I call
I mean, this could easily be Act 1,
Right.
and then there's Act 2.
And then, no, I don't think I do.
Are there any other questions or comments? Anything that's, really on your mind that you want to say? Yeah.
I've got something for the audience or for the viewers. What moment kind of made you guys go, oh shit?
It's not ready. That moment.
In the show?
Layla's ready.
The young woman.
Probably, well, all of this, honestly, but when your wife had cancer, I just hadn't even thought of that, because I feel like you think more of this very stereotypical, like, oh, they had unprotected sex, or they were, taken advantage of, but I didn't even think about things like that, where it's so underrepresented, and it was just like a smack in the face, like, oh my god, she's going that way.
I have to agree, it was when your wife had cancer, I thought for sure something was going to be wrong with the baby, and they would have to take the baby and your wife was going to die because they could not take the baby.
For me, it's the first line. I was like, this is not.
Was what?
The first line.
I was
It's like,
16.
oh, I'm gone. It's
Yeah.
gone. No. Nuh-uh.
Anyone else? I'm
Just
curious.
As a comment,
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
go along with that, the 3 stories for myself, the way it started off kind of seemed to be 2 negative experiences and 1 positive,
Oh.
and then again it was like a plot twist when you.
Oops.
Well, just those sort of really, really thorny questions that are going to be coming up of we have to end a life to save this one here because again kind of ridiculous, and, you know, that sort of thinking. It just, I think on the screen, or perhaps before, it just, the irony over the past 3 years of seeing a whole bunch of people that were probably celebrating Roe versus Wade 2 years ago, holding up signs saying "my body, my choice" when it came to vaccines, but yet when it comes to pregnancy, suddenly no, it's
Right.
the government's choice.
Right.
Just a lot of irony.
There's a lot of people
Guns
who
too.
say, oh, they use it for birth control. And I'm like,
Nobody
uses
uses
it for birth
control.
There are happy people who want to be pregnant. A lot of my friends, because I'm old, a lot of my friends wanted to be pregnant. And they had to terminate the pregnancy for some awful reason. And I've lost friends because my son is the same age as that pregnancy would have been. They can't even see me anymore because my son is this healthy 20-year-old, and it hurts them so much to remember that they had to terminate that pregnancy. It's awful.
Someone really dear to me, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, was actually going through a medically necessary abortion because the fetus was unviable. And if it had been a day later,
Comment here?
No, I was just gonna say also, hearing about this and how much worse it's getting, like, what's new next, like, because people take birth control for reasons completely unrelated to it, like, I'm taking it for acting, right? I know people who take it for other medical reasons, like, it just makes me think of, oh, what's gonna keep happening next, and how much more they're gonna take away.
I take it for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and they denied my birth control this month.
Oh my
5 times.
Stop it.
I have called my my sister can attest. I have been on the phone with the prescription people and my doctor numerous times this month, and I only take it for PCOS. It's a glucose, and they won't even get it from me.
Any other comment?
One of the issues that didn't show up in this play was people having miscarriages, which is nature's way of taking care of babies that are really viable.
Then you have to remove.
And the fact that they are now making doctors afraid to do miscarriage support because of it. And when that's a natural process.
the story's going to grow.
You can go to jail for it now, for helping somebody at the end of a.
I would like to see the men up here and how they deal with it. I want to see their side and what, you know, the ones that have nothing to do with
They're at
the
Jiffy
effective
Lube.
moms.
They're at Jiffy Lube.
I used to work at Jiffy Lube.
Well, did I miss that line? I think I didn't say that line probably. Did I say it?
No, but really, like, what the repercussions or what they're gonna do, what do they decide to eat?
That's also a possible perspective. I mean,
Certainly is.
We
I
can
am a
continue
man
this
supporting woman.
conversation for a long time. I want to give Deb kind of a last word, if there's something specific that you'd like to say to the audience. And then we will call it an afternoon, and we'll be around still if you want to talk to the actors and whatnot. Deb, any final words?
I just want to actually thank you for creating a safe space like this for women and giving us the opportunity to have our words heard. If it wasn't for you, we'd be hearing my words. So thank you.
Thank you. That is our mission of Power Stories, is to give voice to those that would not otherwise be heard. So we thank you so much for your time coming out on a Saturday afternoon, and thank you for the marvelous cast and playwright. Stick around, we'll be around. Thank you very much.
Thank you.